Dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum. Just a moment. Well, that probably reverted to some weird microphone. I'm going to use my good microphone if it works. Just going to try the old XLR. All right, is it still humming? I put it back on the good mic. Let me know. It seems weird. I can't tell though. Maybe I'll go to my audio hijack. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Checking my audio. Checking my audio. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Checking my audio. Checking my audio. Yeah, if I record locally, it's fine. If it gets worse, just flag me again, I guess. I'm not sure. It'd be time to call in some experts here, buy some all-new gear or something. Something's whack. I hate that. Well, my plan was to make some... There's been a couple of circumstances where I wanted to animate to auto and I kept having to like look stuff up or whatever. I just wanted to have like a canonical pen for myself and to share that is the one that's like, oh, are you trying to do this? This is how you do it exactly. So I set this pen up, but it's just one demo and I want to put like 5 demos pretty clearly in here. So I want to have like, maybe I'll have section elements with an H2 in it or something that's like animate to auto. And the first demo, I think I'm going to use this. So I'll put code, the allow keywords, and because it's one big giant demo, I don't think I want to put it on the HTML element. I want to just put it in the like class equals demo 1. And then I'll say like demo 1 pulls that in. I'll just cut to that. That's probably going to sound not great, but workable. Is it like workably fine with that mic? It's just my stupid far away low. Cry. All right, I'm just using my phone mic. Is that workable? Less far away, maybe, at least. I could just do it like that. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, Apple. I've already learned something in this stream. I thought interpolate size meant you could put it kind of anywhere, but maybe it needs to be on the HTML element if it's going to work. cannot be enabled by default across the web. Yeah, fine. So those are the values. Allow keywords being the important one that's going to allow literally animating to the keyword auto. But do you have to put it on the root? The interpolate size value is inherited, so animating to or from an intrinsic size can be enabled for an entire document. If you want to limit the scope, you can limit it to the scope. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. So I'm limiting it to demo 1. So anything within here should allow interpolate size, allow keywords. Why is it not working then? It has a height of 3 line heights when it's not expanded, and all I'm doing is toggling the class on this content chunk to expand it or not. I guess we could sanity check and make sure that's happening as we expect it to. How do you just close this whole bottom panel thing? Go away. There's content, and it's either expanded or not expanded. Nice. And it has a transition on just the height, and the height's going from 3 line heights to height auto. That should animate. If you ask me, let me put it back on the HTML element and see. Maybe it's some kind of bug or something. So now will it animate? It will. Class equals demo 1. Doesn't the reading of MDN seem to be like, if you want to limit the scope, you can set it on the relevant container element. But maybe if you, what is that? What did I click on? I don't want that. Maybe it doesn't inherit though. Inherit. Yeah, it should be back. I don't know why it gave up on me for a minute there. You have a job to do, you little phone. Because interpolate side is inherited, as explained above. And it's just putting it on an arbitrary element right here. Like, what's your deal? So if you put it on the HTML element, it's fine. But if I put it on this, I mean, it wouldn't be limited to just a main element, would it? I mean, that was just a demo thing, demo 1. But if I remove it from HTML, it should inherit to this content element. But look, it doesn't animate. What a dumb embarrassment. What if I put it right on the element where it needs to happen? Will it go then? It will. Okay, so it's not really inherited. Inherited is not the right word. It's kind of untenable to stream when the microphone just cuts on and off. I really don't understand it. Do you think there's some other app that's interfering with it? Maybe it's Slack. I'll quit that. Hijack. All right, I'll keep trying. Anyway, we succeeded here, but I want to make this demo a little bit nicer, and then at the same time, let's copy and make a demo 2 where you don't use it. So I'm going to say calc size, and then you have to put inside of it auto, which is the value I'm going to be using, and then you have to put the keyword size, which we'll have to look up what that means, but it's just a keyword that makes it work. So and if I switch back to this Elgato, it probably sounds good for a second, and then, but it reverts to static and it doesn't tell me. Meh, so sad. Why would you do this? Mute and back. Try something. audio levels here. Let me know about the popping. What I did is I rerouted the cable behind it to just not be like touching anything else in case it's some kind of like cable interference or something. Is it very poppy? It's also kind of funny that if I record it locally, the sound is like perfectly clean and fine. I don't understand it. I really don't. All right, well, somebody chime in case, let me know if that's clean or not while I just work on this a little bit. So I'm going to say demo 2 has some different styles. And this is only going to be for demo 1. So demo 1 content is going to have the keywords way of animating to auto, but the rest of this is kind of the same, except that is going to be isolated to demo 1 format. And that in demo 2, we're going to do this technique instead of that. And they should behave identically. So this one will animate. Oh no, I've wrecked it all. Oh, it's because there's two. I think I'm being too simplistic with the content thing here. This toggle button, now there's 2 toggle buttons. So I can't just be so rudimentary with my JavaScript here. I have to be like const toggle buttons equals queries document.query selector all. Where's a little jQuery when you need it? Dot, do these buttons have toggles on them? No. Class equals toggle button. We'll just be real specific, won't we? Class equals toggle button. And now I'm looking for dot toggle buttons. Button. Toggle buttons for each toggle button. Toggle button dot add event listener. Click. And then what it needs to do is find the content that's right directly after it. What's a cool DOM method for that? Like const content equals toggle button. Is it like dot next or something? I forget the JavaScript methods for like, I want this div that's the directly after this button. Find or something. JavaScript find next element that matches class. Not jQuery, but I applaud it. Next in DOM. Get next. Next element sibling. Is there a vanilla JavaScript next? Yeah, Chris, I knew he'd have a way. Oh yeah, next element sibling, but does it, I guess we don't even care if it matches the class because we know it's the next element. Next element sibling. Pot, you are right. How many points do you get for being right in this chat? It's kind of a lot, at least 10 points. Next element sibling. Is it a function or is it just a property of an element? We'll just find out. Console.log content. Are you the right thing? Click. Yeah, and you're the right thing as well. Okay, so now content can be the thing that we toggle the class list on. And it doesn't work, and that's okay. Let's sanity check that the class is being toggled though. It is. And it's happening on the right elements too, which makes it a CSS problem. Oh, I see. It's not and, it's dot content dot expanded. And this can be part of this and expanded. with an extra one of these. Lovely. That's going to work now. Why aren't you going to work? Demo 1 content, when you're expanded, you change to height auto. That should absolutely work. And when content is expanded here, it changes. And neither of them go. Not what I was hoping to spend time on here. Expanded. When you're expanded, the height is not being set to auto here. Demo 1. Oh, look, it's not in Demo 1. I must have not closed the divs correctly or something. The section has an oh, I see. Look at, I closed the section like obviously way too early. You need to wrap all of this. And you need to wrap all of that. You can format yourself as well. Fun. All right. That's all I wanted to do here. Not on this stream. I just mean I thought that would be easier to get there, I guess. Oh, and then we didn't even put demo 2. It better still work. Come on. All right. That's great. Okay. So what's going on there, to explain myself, I guess, is that this is just an arbitrary group of 2 paragraph elements, of which that we're not setting any particular height when it's expanded. When it's expanded, it's just like, be as tall as 2 paragraphs are. I don't know, maybe this high, maybe this high, maybe this high, maybe this high. It doesn't matter. That's what height auto is. You don't even have to set height auto. We could probably unset it, but height auto is specifically what we're trying to say. Like, just be as tall as your intrinsic height is. But when it's in its normal state, we are restricting the height and hiding the overflow so it gets smaller here. I think that's like a reasonable thing to want to do on the web. That's the point of height to auto, and that's what's kind of exciting about it, is that we've never been able to do that. We've never been able to animate between those 2 values. And to be fair, we only can at Grow at the moment. So it's not like we can everywhere, but it's a pretty decent progressive enhancement, because without the animation, it still does what it needs to do. It just doesn't smoothly animate between them like this is. And crucially, there's already 2 ways to do it. I kind of prefer the idea, and I would definitely put it in my general starter, is to just chuck interpolate size allow keywords on the HTML element. We proved that worked just a moment ago. And then you can always do this. You can always transition between a keyword value. That's why it says allow keywords, a keyword value and a static value, and that will work. This is like your opt-in for that. But it is true that, like, if you had some big old legacy project or something, that you may not like want to just chuck that on the HTML element. In fact, didn't MDN had some note about it, right? It says, this behavior is opted into, cannot be enabled by default across the web because many sites in the wild use style sheets that assume intrinsic size values cannot be animated. So because we haven't been able to do this for so long, they can't just like change the behavior of the web. We need an opt-in to it, and the opt-in is boom, right there. So I think generally it's a good idea to opt into that behavior. It's like the better box sizing almost of a nicety for CSS. You can do it at a scoped level. But if you didn't want to do it at all, you never want to opt into it, there's another way, which is to calculate the size, the auto size. So you see in demo 2, we're not using the allow keywords thing, but we're still transitioning from height 3 line heights or whatever. I just picked a fancy line height to this. And this is saying, instead of just calc, I use calc size instead, which allows me to use keywords inside of it. And then you have to do comma size. So maybe we should just read a little bit about that so we're both a little more educated on this. I knew you could do it. What does that second keyword mean exactly? Bum, bum, bum. It's registering sound. Let me know. I see us audio wave going across in my streaming software, but if you still can't hear me after a second, please let me know. So calc sizes allows us to use this keyword auto here, but it allows you to use other keywords as well. So when I always say animate to auto, but auto is almost a stand-in word for animate to any of the sizing keywords. So kind of cool. And what does size exactly mean? Oh, you can size. So you can do a calculation at the end. How interesting. That is very weird. Huh. Well, maybe my internet went out for a sec. It's like, it feels like you should be able to do calculation here, but no. It feels like what the syntax, should be, even though I shouldn't say should, but it should be like calc size. Oh my gosh, I can't type today. Would be like, I don't know, auto divided by 2 or something. But you can't do that. You have to say auto, then auto value becomes size, and you divide it by 2 over there. That is funky to me. So this is just saying we don't actually need to do a calculation, but I want you to calculate what the auto size is and then just don't do anything to it. Just return it. What an interesting little API. But okay, 2 different ways to accomplish the same kind of thing. One requires an opt-in to new behavior, and one of them uses a new function that exists. This alone doesn't allow us to do any calculations against those auto values. You could use them together. But that's interesting to me that there's these 2 different ways. And it's not always just height either. So it might be cool to have a demo 3 that is doing a width or an inline size thing too. So I think that's worth doing. Like demo 3, actually it's a section, demo 3. I feel like one of the classic ones is like you're hovering over an emoji or something, and or a SVG or something, that it expands outward to the right. UL, LI. In the LI, there's like let's just do an emoji. Why not? A heart. Let's just be lovers today. And it is, do we need another element? We might even need any extra elements in here. We can just say heart. But let's do 3 of them with different lengths of things, like an elephant or something. Is there an elephant emoji? Sure. It just struck me as like a slightly longer word. Elephant. What's the longest word emoji? Oh my gosh. Surely it's a Japanese word or something, but what's long, fairly long? We'll just invent a long one. Oh no. That's not what I wanted. I wanted up here. Merp, merp, merp. Super silly face. Heck yeah. All right, so now we have 3 of those. So let's say demo 3. I guess the LIs in here are truncated to a width or an inline size of like 1 character. Who knows if that will actually fit. That's funny. It forces them to wrap an emoji, overflow, hidden, or clip or whatever. So how much is an emoji wide? Apparently wider than 1 character. Is it 2 characters? I don't want to catch any of the letter though. And then we should make sure they don't wrap. White space, no wrap. Am I going to catch any letter? Come on, nice. So then if we hovered over them, which I don't love the idea of attaching a hover behavior to an LI element. I guess it doesn't matter. They're just not interactive elements. So like you can't focus on them. Maybe these should all be buttons instead. I think I'm willing to do the right thing here. Button, 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 button. No LI. Format. We'll say these are buttons. And they have the same situation going there. But we have to rip off the padding 0, border 0, background. Can you say background 0? Background none. Probably not. And how do you line break between each one? How do I make them? Do I have to put BRs to make them stack because their widths are already set? I guess. This feels gross, but whatever. I'm sure there's a pseudo element line break we could add or something like that. So that, but then when you hover or focus these things, hover or focus, isn't that satisfying? I love the ampersand still. That the width on these or the inline size becomes auto. And, right, auto. But we don't have to use auto. We could double up the usefulness of this demo by saying something like min content. Will that still be? Yeah, look at that. I mean, it's kind of cool. And then you can tab through them and it will work. So we're covering our bases at least a little bit. Accessibility. Fun. And then I think we should do the keywords thing because it seems simpler to me. But didn't we prove that and then let's put a transition 0.2 seconds on just the inline size. This is not going to work. Oh, it is working now. Remember when earlier in the demo I put interpolate size on demo 1 and it didn't work? Oh, that's before we fixed the DOM structure though. Oh, that's stupid. So let's just do this instead to prove a point that it does happen. Great. And this is still going to work. Yeah. Everybody's animating to auto successfully. Lovely. All right. And then these buttons should have some kind of background then. So instead of padding none, we'll put like lots of padding or something. Let's make the background Rebecca purple or something. Color white. Did I spell that wrong? Or did I remove the background later? I gotta fix myself. Yeah, fine. 0.25. Border radius 1,000 pixels. Yeah, make them pills. And they can have a little margin as well. Block end. So their padding is a little obnoxious, though. That means that their width needs to be wider. 4. These are some magic numbers that I do not like. 6. No. How are we going to do this? 6 and then 5. A little too magic numbery, but it should be kind of okay. Oh, but I want the space then to be... I mean, it's making the demo. I do want to polish these demos to make sure they're like... We just should do rems is what we should do. And I guess we could just increase the padding on the left as they expand. There's no that's not a crime, is it? So the padding inline, maybe that's when it gets to be 1 rem, but it doesn't have it almost at all in the default state. But then the transition needs to transition the padding inline also. Yeah, I mean, that's cool and fun. Just means the default needs to be a little bit wider. But not too wide. 3.3. Why do they look cut off? The oval shape's a little funny. But we're proving that this is a possible thing that you can do and that you don't have to animate just to auto. Because we're not animating to auto here. We're animating to min content. That's different. So even though I always say animate to auto, that seems like the most likely thing you can do. These don't have to be auto. They can be other sizing keywords. So that's satisfying. So what is that demo called? I will actually polish these up later. Animate to fit to code fit with. And these animate to auto demos, I'll actually just say the word auto because it's actually what is happening. And we'll have to style that up at some point. And it's not fit with, it's not fit anything. Min content, animate to min content. Nice. Okay, and there's another demo at least that I want to do. Demo 4. I guess this doesn't need any JavaScript, does it? Goodbye, JavaScript file. Oh, it absolutely does need JavaScript. Oh, wait, come back. You know what? That was embarrassing because I actually wrote code that was necessary to use in there, and there's no undo button to bring it back. Ironically, I could look in our... We actually save versions now? Ooh, this is fake data though, isn't it? I could just restore a version, but we haven't finished the feature completely yet. Oh, that's embarrassing. I could just abort the JavaScript and instead of having a toggle, have these be hover based. But the toggle button was so explicit and nice, wasn't it? Maybe I'll just rewrite the JavaScript in a minute. I was like, this is a CSS demo. I don't need that. Oh, it's too bad that feature isn't. It could have been an excellent demonstration of our versions feature that's actively being worked on, but is not on production yet. Demo 4. What I want to do in here is H2 animate code details, LT details. Yeah, okay. This is harder to do. So I guess we could just showcase that at first. So there's details with a summary in it, and the summary is open me or something. And then this can be any content at all. And our goal is to animate it, but I don't think we can just do a height transition on it only. But I guess let's prove that to ourselves first. So like demo 4, I guess we'll scope stuff just in case. There's a details element. But it has, we can do details content on it, background purple or whatever. Is that supported in, we're in Edge, so Chrome land, that'll be purple, right? So this selects any content inside the details that's not the summary. So that you could set as height 0. Let's do the keywords thing. Just steal this and let it percolate its way into this area. And then say like, and open and open and details content height auto. But then this will need a transition its height. Does it matter which is first? I don't think it does. So that's not working, right? That's the point of this particular demo, is that we've just proved that this works. Although I'm still sad about the JavaScript that I deleted from like an absolute moron. Well, we have to put it back, otherwise my brain won't allow it to continue. Document. Speed run with no autocomplete or AI. Next element, sibling, content.toggle, class list, toggle, expanded, no period. Is that all that it was? But yeah, okay. But it's not coming back. Why not? Expanded. It's just, it worked for one click. Why would it? Oh my God. Come on. Edge. That'll teach me to use a weird browser. Oh, it didn't toggle just once. Maybe it didn't toggle at all. So this should have expanded on it, but why is that the case? It doesn't have expanded by default, right? No. So it's how this JavaScript is executing. I just wrote it wrong somehow. Oh, I didn't do it like the actual click. Toggle button not add event listener click. It was just immediately executing once, which makes sense. So we're back. Format, save, close, stop thinking about JavaScript. Got it. This one's still working. This one is not working. Let's add a bunch of padding on the bottom of the body so we can padding block end of like 50% of the viewport height so we can always get down low. Yeah, just to prove that it's not being animated whatsoever here. Actually, look at this is like a weird little nuance here, but like that shows up immediately, but you can see an animation happening with the scroll bar. You can see it slowly come up. So some kind of animation is happening, but really the visibility just immediately changes. That's funny. Something weird was happening there. And the trick is here that you need to animate something else on the details content. Ooh, who wants 10 points? What is the thing that you do? What is it called? I cannot remember. There's a second thing that you need to animate called like something. We'll figure it out. And then you also have to say like animation behavior allow discrete. And then it's all of a sudden going to start working. But I bet if we Google that, do my little search for that, we'll figure out what it is. So allow discrete is the thing that's going to allow the visibility change of details content. Yeah, overlay you need sometimes, but I don't think it's overlay in this case. It's something else. Yeah, that's for popovers. Yeah, that's overlay, but there's another different value for when you're animating a details that's different. I made a demo for it recently. I'm just going to have to look for my own crap to see if I can find it. Oh yeah, it's the song thing that we looked at the end of last week. And I did it on the details of this. Content visibility. Found it. So if we put that there, content visibility with the same duration, this is going to work. No, it's not going to work. Did I spell all this correctly? I shouldn't have closed that other demo. We can just steal all the code just from it. So here's the details element. Details has overflow hidden in block size 0. That's just height. And then we're animating. Oh, it's transition behavior. You have to be specific about which one you're doing. I can't. It's like not enough content to tell if it's animating. We need to do more or something. P. Lorem. Nope, but it's clearly animating. Look at the scroll bar and how it animates up and down. That's animating just fine. Height auto. Height is changing. Oh, are we not hiding the overflow? That's why, right? Overflow, we'll clip it. We should probably just do hidden just in case. Let's just slightly safer, I think. There we go. All right. So that if I was going to show somebody, if I was going to stand in front of a class and teach CSS like they don't do, I would show all these things. I'd be like, you can opt into the behavior with interpolate size, but you don't have to because there's another function that you could use to do it instead. And it's not always auto. That just happens to be one of the keywords that's possible to animate to. You can also use different keywords, and it doesn't have to be height. Clearly, it could be anything. It could be padding, or in this case, inline size. And if you're animating something that changes its visibility entirely, like from display none to display block, which is what's happening here, you need this extra little thing too to make it possible. So it's kind of like 3 or 4 things that you need to know. It's not an easy one-liner to teach, but I'm trying to include it in some kind of like list of things you should know about CSS in 2025 because it's freaking cool. So that's what I'm trying to do in as few lines of code as possible. And I don't think this demo would sell it, you know? Like if you were searching how to do this and somehow you found this pen, is this something you'd wanted to find? Would you be like, oh, this is helpful? I want that to be the case. I think it's pretty close, actually. I just want to make sure that this CSS like reads really cleanly. So I can do certain things like, oh, why would I put this HTML at the top? I should put that at the bottom, you know? Some people do stuff like layer, not important for demo. That way it's a way of grouping CSS that it will still apply. It just doesn't matter, and you can just collapse it. So that's like maybe slightly better if, you know, somebody was finding this pen. I'm trying to be useful, you know, I'm trying to be useful to the people of this world. Yeah, I think I might leave it at that, but I think I might like wrap these in nicer, slightly nicer typography and different colors and stuff to make this like a really nice looking demo. So I think if a demo is too gross looking, it just doesn't, no, it's hard to get somebody to care, you know? Maybe when it's truncated by 3 lines here, I'll make sure it always truncates by half a line and put a little like fade out gradient at the bottom of it that goes away. Anyway, that's my plan. Anyway, I got to roll to school to get my daughter, so we'll pick up on this tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out, friends.